Hey there, and welcome. So today, we're going to dig into something really interesting. Why do even the smallest changes sometimes trigger these huge emotional reactions? We're going to unpack this simple but honestly game-changing idea that can help you shift from just reacting to actually consciously responding. You know that feeling, right? A tiny little change to your schedule, maybe someone makes an offhand comment, and boom, suddenly you're just hit with this massive wave of emotion. So why does that happen? What's really going on under the hood? Let's get into it. All right, let's jump right in. To really get a handle on our reactions, we've got to start with the trigger itself, and that's change. It's funny, even the tiniest shifts can feel, well, surprisingly disruptive. I mean, think about it. Life is just this constant flow of change, right? We're always getting used to new schedules, the seasons are always shifting, we're all dealing with getting older, and hey, even something as simple as trying on new clothes that just don't fit right can totally throw you off balance. All these little things, they kind of break our sense of consistency. And here's the key thing. When everything's consistent, it's like we're in a comfortable rhythm, you know? There's the sense of ease, of trust, but change throws a wrench in the works. It brings in uncertainty, and that can really erode that feeling of trust. And that is the exact moment when our automatic, knee-jerk reactions love to show up. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. There's this one core idea for how to think about those first reactions. It's a super simple metaphor, but I'm telling you, it is so powerful for reframing your whole emotional world. Here it is. This is the big idea. Your emotions, they're just the first draft. Think about that. That initial raw feeling isn't the final published story. No way. It's just the messy, unedited first draft. It's the very beginning of the story, not the end. So this first draft, that's your gut reaction. It's that immediate feeling that just pops up before you've had any time to think about it or process anything. And the real trick here is to see it for what it is. It's not the absolute truth. It's just data. It's a starting point for getting curious, not the final word. And you see this playing out all over the place. Like, for someone who's dealt with loss in the past, a loved one just saying they're leaving for a bit might trigger that first draft feeling of abandonment. Or, that insecure teenager who walks into a room and their immediate thought is, oh man, they're definitely talking about me. Or maybe for you, just the idea of going to the doctor brings up this automatic wave of nope. Those are all perfect examples of a first draft. And what this shows us so clearly is that these reactions aren't random at all. Not even close. They're actually deeply conditioned by our past experiences. It's like our brain has these well-worn paths, you know? That feeling of abandonment, that's a familiar road the brain has traveled down many times before. It's an old story just getting reactivated by something new. Okay, so if our first reaction is just a draft, that begs a pretty important question, right? How do we become the editor of our own story? Let's look at a framework for how you can actually work with that first draft and start writing a new version. The whole process starts with something so simple, just noticing. Awareness, that's it. Before you can change a single thing, you just have to see it. So the first step is just noticing. Oh, hey, there's that feeling again. And here's the important part. You do it without judging yourself for it. No criticism allowed. So here's a super practical 5-step guide you can use to start rewriting that draft. It's actually inspired by a model called InternalFamilySystems. Okay, step 1, just identify the reaction. Notice it's there. Step 2, ask it what its job is. Get curious, like how is this reaction trying to protect me? Step 3, where did it come from? When did this feeling first show up? How old was I? Step 4 is all about digging a little deeper to find the emotion underneath the reaction. Like, is there sadness hiding under all that irritation? And finally, step 5, what's the message? What is this feeling trying to tell me that I really need to know? And this is so, so important to remember. This whole thing, it's not about fixing something that's broken in you. It's definitely not about labeling your reactions as good or bad. It's really just about getting to know your own internal world, your own nature, with a sense of compassion, a sense of curiosity. So, after all this inner work, where does that get you? What's the payoff? Well, it leads to a really powerful shift, moving from a state of just reacting to a place of thoughtfully responding. Just look at the difference here. It's like two completely different worlds you can live in. On one side, you have the reactive state. That's unconscious, it's automatic, you feel attacked, you get judgmental, it's all resistance. Then on the other side, you have the responsive state, and that's where you're aware, you're conscious, you're curious. Instead of feeling attacked, you feel empowered. It completely changes the game. And honestly, this awareness changes everything.
Instead of just snapping at someone because you're stressed and in the zone, you can actually pause and communicate what you need. You can say something like, hey, I'm really deep in a focus zone right now. Can I get back to you in like 30 minutes? See, you're not lashing out. You're just clearly stating a need. That right there, that's the power of shifting from reaction to response.
So, as we wrap this up, let's be clear. The question isn't if you'll have these first draft emotions. Of course you will. We all do. The real question is, which ones are you going to choose to get curious about? Because the moment you see them as just a draft and not some final, unchangeable truth, you give yourself the power back. You become the author of your own story. So, what first draft will you choose to rewrite?